Hey everybody, Chaplain Welty here, the Tattooed Chaplain. And today we're going to continue on in looking at the series we started back a few weeks ago on the topic of burnout. Now, the last time that we were together on this topic, we discovered how we depreciate our work. And whenever we depreciate our work, this is a cause of burnout. Today we're going to be looking at two more reasons why we suffer burnout in our lives. The next reason that we suffer burnout is that we underrate our work. We find in the book of 1 Kings chapter 19 and verse 19 where Elijah, he says, "I have worked very hard for the Lord God of heavens, but the people of Israel have broken their covenant with you and have torn down your altars." You see, Elijah, he was a man of God. He was a teacher of truth, and yet he blamed himself for the things that were not his fault. He was to tell the people what it was that God wanted them to do, but they weren't listening, and the nation was falling apart morally because they had some bad leaders. Basically, what was happening is the leaders were bringing in all kinds of paganism, and that was causing problems amongst the land. Here's Elijah, and he's teaching and he's preaching, and the people were not changing, and Elijah is blaming himself. Now, as a chaplain, as a pastor, I can tell you, I understand where Elijah is coming from. I know this feeling. I know there have been times where maybe I've gotten up to speak and I know that God has a message for me to say. There's a certain thing that I've studied and a certain thing that I've prayed about to share with the people. And I knew that this could be life-changing. But I also knew that 80 to 90% of the people weren't going to hear anything that I had to say. Yeah, maybe they were hearing with their ears, but they weren't hearing with their hearts. They weren't really listening. And I learned a long time ago in the midst of this is that, listen, I'm not responsible for other people's response. I'm responsible simply to tell the truth. In fact, when it comes to what people do during their week, I don't even want to know what they do during their week. It may depress me. But the thing is that I'm not responsible for their actions. I'm not responsible for their response. I'm responsible for declaring the truth. You see, this is the second major cause of burnout. Trying to control everything. You know, whenever we try to control everything, and underrating what we actually do. Actually, I call this the Atlas syndrome, where you're acting as though the whole world rests on your shoulders. You know, I have to make sure that everything is going to turn out all right. I have to hold everything together. I have to work everything out. If it's to be, it's got to be up to me. Whenever we have this type of attitude, we are setting ourselves up for burnout. When you try to be the general manager of the universe, this is a burden that God never, ever intended for us to carry. You know, there's a lot of things in this life that are out of our control, and so we can never be in control of them. Another thing that causes burnout is whenever we exaggerate our problems. You know, if we're always looking for the negative, if we're always focusing on the negative in life, and that's all we ever look at, we're putting ourselves down. We're always seeing everything that's negative. We're setting ourselves up again for burnout. This is what happened to Elijah. In the same chapter, in verse 10, we find Elijah, he says, "I'm the only one left and they're trying to kill me." Now, can you hear the pity party in Elijah's voice? The pity party he's having here. God, I'm the only person in the whole world who lives for you. I'm the only person who loves you. And they're all out here trying to kill me. Now, just a few days earlier, they'd had this great miracle where Elijah prayed and fire came down from heaven. It was a big miracle, and the whole nation saw it, and the whole nation came to God in one day. That kind of thing will definitely wear you out emotionally. Positive things as well as negative things will wear you out emotionally. Now, here's Elijah, and he is so drained emotionally, spiritually, physically, that he can't even focus on reality. He can't get the picture right. Have you ever been that tired before? Have you ever been so wore out that you can't even think straight? I know I have. You can't see what really is happening, and you think that the whole world is caving in around you. When you are drained, when you're tired, when you're fatigued, you don't seem to see reality as it really is. This is exactly what Elijah is doing here. I'm the only one, God, that's trying to do the right thing. He's just forgotten what had happened a few days earlier when the people turned back to God. In fact, God tells him a little later in the chapter, all along, Elijah, there were 7,000 true believers. Even when the nation went the wrong way, these people never bowed down to an idol. He wasn't the only one. There were 7,000 others who, even before the big revival, this is the third cause of burnout. Emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning is when you listen to your feelings rather than the facts, and you focus on how you feel rather than what is reality, rather than what is truth. Emotional reasoning goes like this. I feel it, therefore it must be true. You know, have you learned that emotions lie to you? Feelings lie? Just because you feel something doesn't mean it's the truth. You know, like this morning, I got up, my alarm clock went off, and when I woke up, did I feel like I was a Christian? Did I feel like God was with me? No. I felt tired when my alarm clock went off. Did it change the fact that God is still with me? No. God is with me. Did it change the fact that I'm a Christian? No, I am still a Christian. I just felt tired. You see, your feelings and your emotions are dependent upon the moment. Ask any professional athlete or performer or a musician, and they can tell you that they feel very discouraged even after a great performance. They're so drained emotionally, the adrenaline, the fatigue, that they're thinking, man, I didn't do a good job. But that's not reality. In fact, they probably did a pretty good job. They may have done a great job. But in that state, you start listening to your feelings. And you have to learn as a mature person to ignore your feelings sometimes. Feelings can be wrong. Feelings are highly unreliable. The truth is that there may be some of you who are watching this here today that are saying, I don't feel as though God is very close to me. Well, you're wrong. God is just as close to you in the spiritual lows as he is in the spiritual highs that you've felt. God doesn't move. Where is God? God is with you. He's promised, I'll never leave you and I'll never forsake you. He hasn't backed off and he hasn't moved. Well, that's what I have for you today. Let's have a word of prayer. God, I pray that you'll be with each and every one out there today who is watching this video. God, I pray that you will watch over them, meet their needs, guide and direct them, Father, in all the decisions that they have in life. And now may the Lord bless you, and may he keep you. May he make his face to shine down upon you, and may he give you peace. God bless. This is Chaplain Welty. Later.